Time is limited. Go live. Just gotta grab the Substack. All right. Twitch, Kick, Substack, save, launch. All right, we're live. Let's do this. Oh. All right. Yeah, let's just make sure this is good. Good enough. I'm not fucking with the camera too much today. I don't want this shit to fall. Good enough. All right. All right, we're on all the platforms. We're about to launch here in a second. Just pull up all the chats. Pull up the news. All right, there we go. Good enough. Check. One take, Sally. Here we go.
Tech-rich interior and a sport.
All right. Starting the recording in 3, 2. What is up, team? Welcome back to Headquarters. Your Antifa CEO here. And we had some developments overnight. We'll get right into that because, I want to be honest with y'all and I process things in real time. So I want to make sure that, we're processing it together. Part of me being honest with everyone is that, especially the people that's coming to listen to the literal propaganda factory. I mean, if I'm going to sit here and lie to you, then what am I doing? What's the point? So I want to give you a little inner insight about what we're dealing with in our creative group chat. So we have a group chat full of creators with at least over 10,000 followers. A lot of them have a lot more than that. But as you can imagine in this group chat, not everybody is 100% in the place, but we're 99% there. So a member last night was drunkenly sending stuff, aggressively in the chat, calling people shit libs and just, trying to pick fights and whatnot. And because of that, it immediately created a toxic environment. It triggered people's anxiety, things like that. And this is supposed to be a calm space, it's supposed to be neutral, at least for us. And at the time, instinctually, I'm thinking to myself, just boot the guy, just boot the guy. But I'm like, no, for the people that I've, put in the group chat, let's be honest. Every one of us with platforms has some degree of an ego, number one. Number two, majority of us likely have some sort of mental health issues. I know that I deal with a lot of things myself, especially in terms of anxiety and depression. I did not want to make any assumptions about our comrade. And look, I'll even use names. I don't really care at this point. So Wisconsin Department of Propaganda on Facebook. It is what it is, bro. I mean, it happened. I'm sharing it with the people. It is what it is. You're not going to get out there and get your narrative and claim that we're some fascist group or something like that. Because, frankly, so Wisconsin Department of Propaganda came into the chat being aggressive, calling people out of their name, not being respectful to our fellow leaders, our fellow comrades in the chat. And Other people were like, what's going on, blah blah blah, like chill out. And one of our mods was, extremely insulted and starting getting very confrontational with the person. Now, was that handled the best? No. However, what it comes down to is that whenever you're creating spaces for people, this is what I learned today, that all of the people that you're creating the space for supersedes the one individual who may be poisoning that space. And because of that, so I didn't make the call last night to boot him. Frankly, I didn't put it up for a vote, and I didn't have enough people, even though some people reached out to me on the side. I didn't want to boot him because it just did not feel fair. This was, it was a second transgression because he did call someone else a shit lib, previously, but it is what it is. I mean, realistically, it's just words, and if you can get it under control, we can manage. Like I said, I imagine people are going to have some sort of problems and things that they're bringing to the table. We're going to have to work with it. It's okay. So, people were hitting me up last night. I tried to talk to him on the side. I'm telling him in the chat, like, look, man, you got to chill out, blah, blah, blah. And so this morning comes, and I'm sleeping. I went to sleep around like 5 a.m. my time. I should have checked the chat before I went to sleep. And one of our comrades, East Coasted notes, just highlighted like, look, man, like why did this all happen? Like, why are you being a dick? Blah, blah, blah. And the guy's just, it's like, oh, it's the next day. Go fuck yourself. And it's like, bro, you're still not handling things correctly. And because of that, we had some other comrades in the chat who, some people who were attacked by the guy that just felt like, they didn't want to be in the chat with the guy, so they left. And I'll be real. It was Alabama Department of Propaganda, which is upsetting because, that's how many leftists do they really have in Alabama, So I'm going to reach back out to them. I'm going to make sure that we can mend that bridge. And we lost Comrade Ojaw from the chat. Ojaw has like 1 million followers on most of the platforms. Now, again, I'm going to be 100% honest with y'all. I'm telling y'all this because what's the point of lying? I really have to emphasize that. What kind of CEO is going to get on here and brag that, one of their biggest follower people just left the group chat, And I'm not bragging, but you people really need to be in the know. You're putting your faith in us. We're out here trying to push this working class solidarity message. And so Comrade Ojaw left the group chat, unfortunately, but I'll be 100% honest with you. I was actually not expecting him to stick around through any types of friction whatsoever. I mean, the guy had almost 1 million followers. Realistically, even though our group collectively, I'm still going to include him. He's still part of the team. He's still a sick left radical. But, our group collectively has about 8 million altogether. For some reason, he wouldn't see the strength of having all of those people together. And for whatever reason, he didn't want to just tough out this situation. He never personally reached out to me to voice any concerns or any of those things. So, again, the first sign of friction that we had in the group, I knew that we were potentially going to lose some of the bigger people with their platforms. But that's okay. It's things that we've prepared for. And it's not like I'm not out here recruiting every day. I mean, we continue to add heavy hitters to our roster, just with, look, I'm looking at the chat right now. We got Dr. Greg in the chat, my boy, Dr. Greg out there spitting the hard facts with the 5014C, or 501, whatever it is, the one that can make money, the nonprofit that can make money, or poor profit, whatever, the political organization that can make money, that can wage some good war. We're building communities, we're fostering communities. And Comrade Ojaw, if you hear this, I hope you just take a little time to cool off, and I hope that you come back, and I hope that you realize that, not only can you reach out to me, but part of leadership, and I'm not anybody's leader. If anything, I'm a servant. I work for you people. But part of it is having to deal with things and make decisions and having to deal with personalities. I mean, especially when you're putting together a bunch of people with platforms and things like that, you're going to be dealing with a lot of personality. And even in any management situation, you're dealing with everybody's personal stuff that they're bringing. And so with that being said, it's not the end of the world. It's really not the end of the world. Some mean words were said in a group chat. Realistically, I think that this is something that we can all get over. I think that this is something that we can move on from. And I think it's something that we can learn from. I learned a lesson here. And It's that when my space is made uncomfortable for the rest of the people, that the person doing that needs to be isolated immediately. And then from that, if they want to regain access to the group, they have to perform and meet the incentives immediately. We're not going to do any more allowing people to continue to poison the group, because for everyone in the group, it's just not fair. It's just not fair. And so we're going to apply that to the greater org too. I mean, with the inner circle, we're learning how we can apply these lessons. And that's one that, it's happening in real time. Like I said, I processed it today. I literally just got out the chat to hop on here. And it is a little upsetting. I'm not going to lie. It is upsetting to see, our chat's been growing constantly, and to see a couple comrades leave and one get booted. It does hurt, because in some way it's my baby. This whole operation right now is my baby. The whole thing of putting sick left radicals together to fight oppression, to fight back in Donald Trump's America, the whole thing of putting together the most dangerous people labeled by this administration, it's really in here. I wouldn't get on here and do this every day if I didn't believe in this in some real way, if I didn't feel the energy that it's giving me. And so I'm not going to lie to you. In this moment, I do feel just a bit of wind taken out of my sails. But with that being said, I also look at the momentum that we have from this weekend. I look at the largest lives that we had over the weekend. In real time, we got almost up to 100 viewers, which I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but you people don't realize I'm fighting for my fucking life out here, dog. Between the Facebook algorithm, between the TikTok algorithm, between the freaking TikTok live algorithm, I'm literally struggling to get this message out. We're doing everything that we can. So to be able to see that we've got some momentum going into this next week with the real-time followers, it is a little bit reassuring. And, one thing especially that I've learned in my life, just a little insight into your CEO. I try to sprinkle a little bit in here and there. Coming from a mother that had me at 16 in an interracial relationship in the deep rural South, coming from everything that I've gone through in my life of poverty, going through everything that I had to go through just to get a college degree, the addiction in my family, the rehabilitation, the reintegrating my mom from prison, all those things. When it comes down to it, even though this may take a little bit of wind out of my sails, realistically, look, your boy still put the suit on. I didn't shave today because I shaved yesterday, but I will shave tomorrow. Your boy is still going to be out here recruiting 24/7, because now we have 3 spots to replace in our group chat, and you best damn well be sure that I will fill them. Because when it comes down to it, my number one prerogative is working class solidarity, and I will not let anything or anyone take the wind out of those sails. So unfortunately, when it comes to the infighting, it happened. But I'm going to continue to move on. I'm going to continue to stay focused on big picture, because that's what y'all pay me, not a lot, for. We'll talk about it. But that's what I'm here for. And that's what I'll continue to be here for every day. And to all of our comrades still in the chat, I want to thank you personally, because this was our first moment of friction. I will be completely honest with you. And it's not the worst that it could have been, but realistically, hey, it is what it is. This was our first point of friction. We lost a couple comrades, but for everyone that is still there, I know that we will be stronger on the other side. And so to that, I really do thank you. And to all of our other comrades, man, we've had so much happen just yesterday. All right, just yesterday, we doubled the size of our Discord. Just yesterday, we added more followers and subscribers to every platform. Every single platform grew in some capacity yesterday, besides the group chat. But, we're doing it, man. The motion and the energy is in the right direction. The train is leaving the station. So if people are scared and people want to jump off because it seems like it might be a little hard, then that's okay, because we're still going without you. With or without you, we will continue chugging along. We will continue collecting every single comrade that we can, and we will not stop until the ultimate goal of every mega yacht becoming a coral reef is reached. Legally, of course. Legally, respectfully. But the billionaires must be on notice. And no matter the infighting, no matter the infiltration, no matter the feds, whatever, they're going to need the motherfucking army. All right. Pete better send one of those little drug drones to freaking come take out your boy, because I'm not stopping. All right. It doesn't matter. So to all the little feds that get on here and watch, to all the little fantasy landlords that think that you can, stop it, it's inevitable. This is inevitable. Working class people have had enough in terms of the leaders that we're collecting to make sure that our messages are heard. Well, when it comes down to it, those leaders will be the most sick left people in America. We're not looking for liberals. I hate to break it to you, but I am not in any way, shape, or form going to put any energy or motion behind any liberals. We have enough cowards out there. We have enough people that just get on here and they're scared to, I'm a platform. I don't want to lose any followers. I don't want to hurt any feelings. I don't give a shit. All right, I don't. And so when we lose a couple people from the group chat, when we lose a couple followers because someone didn't like what we said, it doesn't matter, because like I said, I'm on here every day recruiting. So we're going to replace it. We're going to make it up tenfold. For every person that we lose, I guarantee you there's 100 comrades chomping at the bit to get in that spot. If I circulated who was in the group chat right now, do you know how many influencers would be begging, absolutely begging to get in there? Come on now. And we're talking any influencer under 500,000 followers would easily be begging to get in there, because it's hot. And we putting together hot people, because that's what you do when you want to be successful. And it's not just hot people, it's smart people. Because I believe very, very faithfully that you have to surround yourself with the most smart, capable people, the most compassionate and empathetic people. I think that's why this group chat thing was so upsetting, is because everyone in there, number one, is sick left radical. Number two, they're compassionate and empathetic. Number three, they're battle tested. Many of these people have lived the lives that has, they're on here. You don't just get a platform by luck. I don't think people understand that. Like, you don't just post one thing and wake up with 100,000 followers. You might get a couple thousand or something like that. But like, people that have 100,000, 50,000, 250,000 followers, they've been out here grinding this shit. They've had days where they woke up and they didn't know if they were going to be able to make it. I know, because the pressure not only of this right here, but the pressure of everything else is so substantial. And when you put this in it too, you get all these racist comments and all this hate speech and all these things that these platforms would ban me for in a heartbeat if I tried to tell you what they're telling me. But the fact that these people can say it, I don't know. I get the messages every day. They call me the worst names ever. I'm sure some of the women in our chat here are worse than me. It's absolutely disgusting. So I know every single person in there has earned their spot. And in no way, shape, or form would I ever question their spot, especially when it comes to all of the comrades that are joining right now. Just by clicking follow on any of our accounts, you're likely being added to some federal list. So just that is an act of resistance nowadays. Just listening to this, obviously, terrorist organization, just listening to this will get you on a freaking watch list nowadays. So the fact that these comrades are coming together, I in no way, shape, or form will ever question their loyalty. Because just to get in the chat, you got to swear an oath to communism and Antifa as it is. So, like, what are we doing? And look, I'm not going to spend the whole time talking about the chat. It's just like, again, I want y'all to have the insight. I don't think it's fair. Of course, there has to be some degree of an inner circle, and we're not going to let all of our followers come into the chat with it. It would be too chaotic. We need to be able to communicate clearly and effectively. But at the same time, all of you need to be aware of what's going on in there, and all of you need to be aware. So I'm all about full transparency. So anytime that I can give you any updates about things that are happening in the chat, because realistically, most of the time we're just talking about like what we're doing, talking about like our coordinations. If anybody needs any help with anything, that's mainly. But this was one of the ones that actually was kind of like, ooh, this is a little salacious. So I figured we'd share it, because why not? I'm not embarrassed. What would I be embarrassed about? Realistically, and Ojal, I don't want to hurt your feelings. I don't want to insult you. And this is not in any way, shape, or form doing that. But frankly, I would be embarrassed for people to know that I walked away from this chat. For people to know that, we got a bunch of sick left radicals that is trying their damnedest to come together for working class solidarity, and you walked away from that. It's a little unserious, but it's okay. I don't want to attack. That's not what this is for. That's just my opinion, because personally, I find solutions. When they have problems, I find solutions. Anytime we have problems, I find solutions. That's just been my life. I can't run. I've never had the luxury of running away from any of my problems. I couldn't run from the poverty. I couldn't run from the addiction-stricken family. I couldn't run from the abuse, any of the abuse, physical, mental. I couldn't run from any of it. So I have to fight. I have to be in the moment. I have to figure out a solution. I have to survive, and I have to fight. So I will never run from any opportunity to join with any comrade when it comes to fighting back against these billionaires. Even if it's not the best time for me, even if, it rubbed me the wrong way once or twice, because this right here, I got this right here. I got this voice. I have the ability to speak up and advocate not only for myself, but for the millions of people who put their faith in me as their Antifa CEO, for the millions of comrades who put their faith in me to fight for working class solidarity. So what's the point of running? And be like, hey, we got a problem. Can we fix it? Can we fix it? Can we fix it? This is my solution. If we can't get a solution, then I guarantee I can probably get more people on my side, and we will go and we will figure out that solution. Because that's what it comes down to. We got a world full of problems. We need a world full of solutions. And the solution for me, at least, is very simple. It's simple math. We just broke it down yesterday. Elon Musk, worth $400-something billion. If we liquidated just Elon Musk, every person in America could get a check for $100,000. So you tell me, what would you prefer? America? Would you prefer one Elon Musk, or would you prefer a $100,000 cash check in the bank? Because I guarantee you that not a single billionaire has ever created anything for you. It has always been a poor person facing adversity who was trying to solve a problem. And I think that if we could put $100K in some poor bank accounts, that a lot of problems would start being solved. Because every billion that we let sit in Mr. Musk's bank account is a billion that we don't see. And that goes for all of them. That goes for Jeffy B and Mark and Larry and Paige and all the things. We got all the names, It's not some secret cabal that's running us. They're very open. They're very public. We can see the shareholders. We can see the companies. It's very obvious who is hurting our families. And that is the billionaires. So do you want one Elon Musk, or do you want $100,000 in your bank account? Because that's the choice that we are faced with every single day, is that Elon Musk, worth $400 billion as an American billionaire, could be redistributed to every single American. Look, even if we gave him, let's let Mr. Musk keep $1 billion. Let's be nice. Okay, we'll be nice. Let's let Mr. Musk keep $1 billion. That gives us $399 billion to distribute. That means that every American can get $99K. That's crazy, right? It's crazy. Crazy how the math works. It's 1,000? Oh, yeah. Well, look, hey, just bump the number then. Bump the number. We'll give 4 million people 100,000. Or look, better yet, Mr. Greg, Dr. Greg, throw a couple more billionaires in there. If my math is off, throw a couple more billionaires in there. We can make it, we can increase the billionaires, or we can decrease the amount of people getting money. But it'll balance out. I promise you. I promise you it'll balance out. I'm just a simple chemist. Maybe my math isn't the best, but I promise it'll balance out. It's really a shame. It's really a shame. But yeah, our time is limited. with Trump, with your boy right now. What was going on? The war crimes, the freaking war crimes. It's very obvious, okay? Because look, maybe it's not obvious, I guess, to a lot of people because they're seeing what's going on with Israel and Gaza and stuff like that, and they see that Israel performs these second strikes all the time. So maybe they're like, oh, that's just what we do. That's our military doctrine. But no, especially I was listening to, had to have been NPR because that's what I consume the most of. Thank y'all so much for the heart muse, by the way. Had to have been NPR I was listening to, and they had on, or I think it was PBS. I was listening to PBS last night, and PBS NewsHour, they were talking to a retired judge advocate general. He was a top lawyer in the military. I think he said he had 30 years of experience or something like that being a JAG in the military. And, he explicitly said, like, no, it's very obvious that, like, those were illegal orders, and it's very obvious that that was, like, a war crime. This isn't, like, semantics or anything, because whenever, if it were, it's like the difference between land and water. And I think he said that even in the actual, like, what they use to teach people the rights and wrongs and whatnot, I think he said that the combatants in water was, like, an actual example. So it's like, did they even pass the test to begin with? So the real difference between combatants on land and water is that when they're on land, they're often in some sort of tactical formation, or they're regrouping to reattack. But in water, they're completely neutralized, especially if they're clinging to a destroyed vessel. In fact, it's actually the law to go and help them and rescue them, and transfer them from the classification of a neutralized enemy combatant, because once they're a neutralized enemy combatant, they're a civilian, and so then they have to be transferred from civilian into prisoner of war status, which is a whole nother thing that we've tried to get around by calling people enemy combatants and all these things, whatever. But essentially, the shit was very obviously illegal, and I think that this administration is making it a point to do illegal things so that we can be used to it. It's either that or it's just blatant incompetence. But I think that what else would you expect? It either has to be so coordinated, and this is they know exactly what they're doing, or it has to be just such blatant incompetence. And I don't know which one it is, but based on the situation, we hired a literal drunk to lead the military. Your guess is as good as mine. If I had to put my money on it, do I think it's some nefarious, hateful thing? In some ways, yes, but at the same time, it has to just be blatant and outright incompetence. Because when we look at every thing that this administration is attempting to do, we see so many levels of just blatant incompetence over and over again. That's part of the reason why I put on the suit. That's part of the reason why I get on here and say that I'm the CEO of Antifa, because I see that this administration is so incompetent when it comes to the orders that they're getting into these courts, that realistically, I feel like this would just kind of speed up the process for everybody, and it would make it so that no one else could be brought into court. Hey, it'd be a little crappy for me, but hey, Nelson Mandela did 27 years. I don't think I'll have to do a full 27, but maybe I'm a dummy, maybe, and it probably won't be me. It'll probably be a beautiful woman, but it's going to be some handsome communist one day. But the path to the presidency, I think it runs through the C-suite of Antifa, at least when it comes to someone on the left that is absolutely trying to improve material conditions for the working class. That's who I want to vote for. I want to vote for the CEO of Antifa as my president. He looks a little young right now, so give him a few years. But it'll probably be a woman, though. That's the thing about it, because the true working class revolution will come through the women. That's why they try to suppress them and beat them down so much now. To give it a few years, and it'll probably be a beautiful communist woman that goes in there and wields those tools. I have my full faith and credit on that. But I know that it's coming, and I know that it's true, because we see it every single day. That's why, Comrade Ojal, look, you're always welcome back. You are always welcome back. Maybe just take a couple of days to just forget that this happened. Maybe take a couple of days to be a little less offended. And you can come back. I'll take you back. I'm sure the team will take you back. I'm sure we have no hard feelings because we understand that that person was directly insulting you and your credibility to the working class movement. So I understand where you would feel like that's not something that you want to engage with. But don't turn your back on the working class solidarity movement, especially when we've put together 8 million sick left radicals just that fast. You don't walk away from that. You don't walk away from the hottest, fastest growing movement on the left, potentially in the world. You just don't walk away from that. And that's what people aren't realizing, is that this shit, I'm telling you, for everyone that really can't see it behind the scenes, I'm telling you that all of our members are really starting to see it now. And they're like, wow, like what is happening? Because every day they're meeting new people, other creators that they've are fans of, people in the movement that they're fans of, and they're like, wow, like this is really happening. We're coming together in an impactful way for change. So that's why we're trying to make sure that all of you can see it. And I'm sorry it is slightly delayed because of this infighting, but we're going to get back on track and our numbers will still be strong. I mean, we've already hit our goal of 4 million sick left radicals for the year. So even though we stumbled a little bit, we're still headed in the right direction. Things don't always go up and to the right. This isn't, let's just be honest. All right. Capitalism has fooled us to think that everything just goes up and to the right. The group chat was going up and to the right. We got a little dip. But guess what? I'm buying that dip. I'm buying that dip, baby. I'm doubling down. I'm chasing the money because the results have been the best results I've ever gotten in my life. Just opening that chat, just having the knowledge that I have so many smart, compassionate, empathetic people that are working towards the same cause as me, just available right there at my fingertips. God, that shit didn't exist, a couple weeks ago. Last month, that did not even exist, and now it does. And just the energy that gives me, compounded with all of the comrades that come together to hold me up every single day, whether you're listening here now, whether you're listening after the fact on all of our platforms, whether you're consuming all of the other content that we're putting out, comrades, that energy is what sustains me. In terms of our Substack, too. I'm so excited about what we're bringing to you right now with that. We have our first article from our new contributor, Derek Sawyer. That was live yesterday. I believe that he is doing a Monday, Thursday schedule. We are bringing in the beautiful Miss Sarah Russell from the Neurodivergent Report. We're going to be adding her as a contributor to the Propaganda Factory. So that is going to be an amazing weave-in. We are building, they say if you build it, they will come. But hey, do not come here. They say if you build it, they'll come. So Sick Left Radicals, we are building it. Any way that comrades can contribute to the Propaganda Factory, we are building it, and we are making it so simple, so easy that, man, it's like the revolution. It's just going to happen. One day we're just going to wake up and there's not going to be any billionaires, and we're going to be like, what happened? But when we look at the track record, we're going to see that every step of the way, we were engaged in some part of it. It was just woven so effortlessly into our lives that it's almost like we did nothing at all. But every day, we put 100% of our energy into the goal of improving material conditions, of achieving working class solidarity, and turning every mega yacht into a coral reef. I'm telling you, it's going to be like magic. I'm not a magician. Simple chemist. Some people think chemistry is magic. It's not. You just got to read the instructions. It's just that simple. Not a magician, but I'm telling you, it will be like magic. It will be. It will be. Your eyes will not believe it. And I was in a group chat the other. God, my whole life is just freaking group chats nowadays. I was in a Discord. Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to promote. Our Discord's growing very fast. Please make sure all team members join our Discord. It's growing very quickly. I think we just passed 100 members today. I'm so, the Discord, I was unk. I'm not even going to lie to you. I was real unk. I didn't understand what was going on with it. Now that I've played around with it, Discord low-key hot. My two favorite new platforms right now, Substack, Discord. Substack is one of the most important in terms of allowing me to give you an omnipotent media presence in terms of long form, audio, short form, all the things. And then in Discord, just the ability to like accumulate my information and like have people participate in that real time like that. I see that these things now will be my most powerful tools, but when it comes down to it, when you look underneath the hood, it's you. It's you. It's every one of you, comrades. That is the engine to the working class solidarity movement. That is the engine to our liberation. So I think it's very easy. It's very easy to find the energy. It's very easy on these dark days to continue. I know I skipped yesterday, but I didn't really skip yesterday. The live was just at a different time because I ended up staying up all night yesterday, Monday. I stayed up from like 3 to 5 a.m. and we were on live. And we did great. I even thought about clipping it and recording it. We had the freaking Antifa frog on. Big salutes to my boy. He didn't show up today, but that's okay. I'm sure he has a busy life. But yeah, so I didn't put that into the audio feed because I thought that was going to be a little lazy. But we came here today. We spent time today, and we will continue to spend time every day in some capacity. And I didn't want to tell all the other platforms, but yesterday I did go live. I just hopped on live on TikTok for like 10, 15 minutes, just because it's a lot easier, a lot quicker, because to be everywhere. So right now we're on 7 different platforms. I have to get on my computer. I have to set everything up. It takes like a couple of minutes, but I have to use my computer and I have my fancy microphone now. So to be live on 7 different platforms, I like to make sure that the audio is crisp. I like to make sure that the visual is crisp. But just to go live on TikTok, I just have to open my phone. So it's I'm not saying where y'all need to be, but I'm just saying if you want the best experience, it's probably going to be on the TikTok live. However, make sure you follow us on all platforms. Our sponsors today, Vo Noir, feed a family this holiday season. I think they're doing a sponsored toy drive, VOIXNOIRE.com. Sorry for plugging it at the very end. The sponsored stream on 7 different platforms is brought to you by Liquidate the Billionaires. That's right, Liquidate the Billionaires with their ambitious goal to turn every mega yacht into a coral reef. Thank you so much for that, Heart-Me. Please tap in with Liquidate the Billionaires on all platforms. Please tap in with MTC STW on all platforms. The Propaganda Factory on as many platforms as you can find us. I appreciate everyone's time today. We're going to have to go. But we will have a live tomorrow. I'm trying to confirm our guest for tomorrow, but regardless of if we have a guest or not, I will be here fighting for working class solidarity. Your CEO is signing off.